You want to clack? History and background, take two.
Okay.
The dog.
So we can just talk to each other,
Let me
but
get in place.
maybe. Hi, puppy. You stay. You sit down. Sit down.
Go lay down.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dennis,
And I'm Charlie.
and we are Gay Men on Pause. And today we're going to just talk about our backstory, pre-departure, and really what made us decide to do what we're doing. So let's talk about the impetus for change.
Okay, so I actually was somewhat forced into retirement with my current company, or with my ex-company, I should say. I was told I needed to look for another role. As I was looking for another role in the company, I couldn't find anything that appealed to me. So I decided that I was going to retire after 21 years. I joke with others that I am too young to retire, but too old to find another job. After 21 years in the same company, I just really did not like the idea of trying to move on and try to start over somewhere else. So we started looking at what our other options could be, and we decided one of our other options would be to both retire and look for something else to do.
Yeah, when he mentioned us both retiring, I was very excited because obviously, we're still relatively young, and I thought we would have at least 10 more years working. So this is exciting news for me. And I had been with my company, or I'm still with my company as of this taping. I'm going on 17 years or seasons with them, but I think it's definitely time to move on. And our future plans are very exciting. So we're calling it a midlife gap year. What does that mean to you, and why now?
So I have worked since I was a very young child, actually in watermelon fields back when I was in high school. I've never had a break in work. I was in the military. I've worked for other small companies, and then I've been with this company for 21 years. So I've never actually had a break from work. And so the idea of looking at our finances and realizing we had enough money, meaning that for at least a year, I didn't have to do anything, just kind of gave me a sense of peace that I could regroup and see where I want to spend the last bit of my life. So the gap year doesn't mean not working. It just means working differently. We're going to be doing this that you see here. So this is work, but now our work is going to be fun and based on us having fun.
So yeah, the idea of a gap year is usually referred to for kids graduating high school and before they go to college or get a job, they'll just take a gap year. So we're sort of reinventing that. And I think others have been doing it as well, but we're in our 50s and we're taking a gap year. Let's talk about maybe how we told our families and how they reacted.
We knew that for financial reasons, it would be better for us to leave the US. So first we started looking at Mexico, actually. Mexico is very attractive for expats. We had narrowed it down to two different places in Mexico that we were going to go visit.
Puerto Vallarta and Merida.
Merida. And we told our son and his wife, and they didn't seem excited about us moving to Mexico, but they were excited that we were going to start a new journey. So we had narrowed it down to there. And then at some point, Dennis mentioned, and he'll tell the story, that he had been to Sitges, Spain, and we were actually in the process of booking flights to Mexico, and he had talked about wanting to take his partner back, and he'll tell you more about that. But I said, hey, maybe we should just go to Spain and see what this is about first, because we have other friends who've moved to Spain as well. And so we kind of pivoted, and to use a corporate term, we pivoted and booked flights to Spain, and the rest is history.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I backpacked through Europe in '92. Obviously, we're not young, but and I was there for the Olympics, just in Barcelona, and I met a bunch of young people traveling, And they were like, "Hey, we're going to the beach today. Why don't you come with us?" And I said, "Sure." And we went to Sitges, which is about 30 minutes south of Barcelona. And I just fell in love with it. And my 21-year-old self was like, "This is paradise." And I said to myself back then that I would love to bring my future partner here. And 34 years later, it came to fruition. And fortunately, Charlie loved it as well. So we decided to pivot to Spain. And one of the other reasons also was that a very good friend of ours that I work with at my current job told us about the potential visa for me, because with my Filipino background, I can actually get citizenship in Spain with 2 years of
Residency.
residency. So I'm working on getting my Filipino passport. There's been some challenges there. We can go through that at another time, but the idea is for me to get residency in Spain, which Charlie being my husband, they recognize same-sex marriage, which is important. He'll get a residency as well, and he can acquire Spanish citizenship in 5 years. So once we get those under our belts, pretty much all of Europe and the EU is open to us.
Yes. So we'll be dual citizens. We'll have citizenship both in the U.S. and in Spain. And basically with a U.S. passport and a Spanish passport, the world is open to us. There's so many places that we'll be able to visit, especially in the EU. We'll be able to travel freely as much as we want to in the EU. So while Spain will always be our home base, we can travel and see the rest of Europe freely while we're there. So that was very exciting too, versus in Mexico, we wouldn't have had that same freedom. When we went to Spain, we came home from Spain and we told our son immediately. He seemed much happier that we were going to Spain versus going to Mexico. We told them about everything we did in Spain, when we went to Sitges, we didn't go as if we were tourists. We actually went as if we were going to live there. And we found the area. We talked to our Airbnb host's wife, who's a realtor. We talked to her some. We walked around neighborhoods. We found where Dennis could go and play tennis during the day. We went to markets and looked at food and just different areas. And we really went there as if we were going to live there, not as a tourist, just going to museums and churches or whatever. We also mastered the train system, getting us into Barcelona.
Very easy.
Moving around the metro in Barcelona. So we recognize that's, even though it's in a foreign language, Spanish, it was very easy for us to understand pretty quickly. And so much so that when we left, instead of paying 70 euros for a taxi to the airport, we paid 10 euros for the train to the airport, and we did that comfortably. So we told our son, once we told our son, telling others, we met some others for lunch or brunch and told them. We just started kind of just telling people, and then Dennis needed to tell his boss because he didn't want his boss to hear it from someone else. So talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm currently working still at my job. I work with the Florida Panthers, the hockey team, and Charlie urged me to tell them, because obviously once the word got out, I didn't want them to hear it secondhand. But I've given a pretty long runway for my departure from my work. I told them in November, and we're planning to leave in April at the end of the season. So, and once I had told them, like, a weight was lifted off my shoulders, like we're really going to do this. It became very exciting, and just to be able to verbalize it at your place of work was a real relief and made everything very real. And they took it well. I mean, I've been with them for 17 seasons, and I think, for me, it's definitely time to move on. And they were super supportive and just very happy for me, because I think once, when you tell people you're going to sort of semi-retire and move to Europe, I think the majority of people are happy.